Good afternoon, my dear champions. Hope you are doing good and waiting for the lecture, right? So let's get started with Spring Framework Web MVC, and today we are going to learn some annotations and some regular expressions and also some path variables that I discussed the last time, right? So before we get started, so let us discuss what we had learned so far, maybe in the previous 5 to 10 lectures, right? So let's get quickly started with the Spring Suite. Right now, you can clearly see in front of you each and every single thing. What we have been able to do, create a different model, right? We did not create a controller with a URL pattern, right? So URL pattern as a value is taken by the methods here, right? So whenever I click on login, so I will get this show form, right? So for example, I say login, so I should get this show form. Now what is this show form? This show form method of the class login controller is actually returning right, the model and view login, which is in our case training industry, and it is in the source views login.jsp. So now whenever I click on /login, I will go and fire and I will just view this login.jsp. That is going to happen on get, because whenever I load the URL, by default get is fired, and you guys are completely aware of that get is fired by default whenever you load the web application. And second time, right, once you post, what are you doing? You are using this model attribute user. That means you are automatically mapping the model attribute user with the model this time, right? And then you have created an accounts controller, or we can say created a service, which is business service, and you're mapping your business service right with the model. Now automatic mapping is happening here. So that means what are we passing from login.jsp? All right, we are passing username and we are passing password, right? And we can also pass let's say about we have this username, password, and we can say that remember me. We can also say remember me. Input type, so for that we will say check. Input type checkbox can be used, right? Alright then, so now this is your, okay, so you can use remember me as well. Alright, and for that, if you want to automatically map this remember me, please write a username and password. Yeah, that is happening, but for that what you need to do is go to users and create private string remember, right? So we created this private string remember, and we have to create it here as well. So I'll say string remember, right? And I will say this dot remember is equivalent to remember. So you can do this and you can keep on adding. So now even this is automatically mapped. If I show you right here, right, because it should match the name of this. No, it does not have name, so I'll give it a name first. So I'll say name is equal to remember. So now this name remember should match as that of the member variable name of this remember right here. So and we have to create getters and setters. So I'll just go and source, I'll go to generate getters and setters, and you can only see that we have to generate getters and setters of remember also. Now remember, password and username, once they match in a value stack, once they match with the input pattern, which is input type or input element name, username, password, and remember, if they match, what is going to happen here? Once you click on the submit button, you are going to go to this URL /login. So /login is going to map whatever is coming, right, or whatever you're posting back to this form is automatically going to be mapped with this model users with the help of this model attribute annotation. That's what we have learned so far. So today what I will show you, what I already said that I am going to show you from the test, right, that you can even take you can even take these series by using the path variable, right? And to understand that path variable, first you need to understand, if I go to test, right? So now let me first go to test and show you nothing. Now if I pass series, right, any series, let's say about the series can be anything, right? And that series will go in the path variable, and that name will also go in the path variable. But as long as the initial URL test is concerned, right, you have to execute this test.jsp page, right? That means you have to open this test.jsp page. Let me have only test first, so that we can then use the path variable right here. Okay, fine. All right, so this is the test. Okay, we have to go to test. Okay, we are getting hello world. So instead of hello world, I will just use message $msg. That's absolutely fine. So I'm passing this message here. Okay, so I'm passing this message here, hello world. So that's absolutely fine, and it's working absolutely fine. So we don't have any problem. Now I said that we want to go and pass some series here, right? So that series can be anything, that can be a value, right? And that series has to be taken in a path variable. So I want to take it as a path variable. For example, I want to display, right? Let's say about we have a page about, and about I want to see team, right? So now, hey, I want to go and see the team about. I want to go to the page test, and out of the page test load about and then load team. So once we learn crude operations, we are going to learn it, because once we are retrieving this kind of data from the database, so then you will understand the importance of path variables, right? So now how do you take those path variables? So I'll say at the rate of path variable. Now, for example, we have this series here, right? series, right? So now I have taken this path variable series as string series, right? So now you can even go and drop this to the message. You'll say, hey, now whatever path variable is, because path variable is not a query string. You remember, query string starts with question mark, right? That is the magic here, that we are not going to give query strings. We are using nice user-friendly URLs, right? So had it been a query string, right, then we will use question mark, right? About, or we can use something like this, page is equivalent to about, and right, something, but we don't have it here, right? We are using pure we can say path variables, right? So that's why I said series, right? And after that, the series is going to be about, and after about, I am going to say, give me the team, right? TEAM, team. Okay, all right. Yeah, that's a path variable that we are taking series and we are taking name. But yeah, I have done a mistake that instead of using curly braces, I am using square braces. So that's my mistake, sorry. Path variables always take curly braces. Alright, so now it's saved. So let me try. Okay, it's still not, I don't know. We have this test, and then we have this series, which is taken as a path variable series, which is series series here. It goes here, and okay, fine. Then we are having name. Okay, now let's see how it goes. So I will save this, and again, yeah, now we are getting about. Now you can clearly see that we are getting a path variable even without having any problem, right? We're not fetching data as a query string using get. Yeah, it is get. You can even say, yeah, it is going to fire at the time of get and at the time of post I'm going to fire something else. You can even write that, so that's not a problem. So you can say at the rate of request mapping that I want this to be executed, right? So I can use method is equivalent to get, right? So you can use this request mapping method is equivalent to get, right? So that's not a problem, okay? But why are we getting an error here? Alright, so I will just use it once and I will use it as value. So I'll say value is equivalent to this, and this value is not a normal value. Now this is going to be a path variable value. So let's hit comma here. Now we're using request mapping. Okay, request mapping value is equivalent to this, method is equal to request mapping method dot get. Okay, fine, right? So now you can see that about is loaded. If you want to now load the second part of the series, you can even use this second series. This is the URL test, and this is the first series, and this is the second series. I am going to load from the database all the details about my page, which is about us, and I don't want every single thing. I just want to go and see team. For example, if you're having a URL, all right, if you're developing a website, and let's imagine you have a URL about us, right? And under about us, you are having, let's say about team, right? You are having who is who, right? You are having directors, right? So now this is the about us team, and these are the sub menus or the sub URLs. So now if I go and click on about us team, so I should get team. If I click on who is who, I should get who is who. If I get right click on directors, I should get director. That's what I'm doing here. I'm loading a different path variable. I'm loading a different path variables here as series of about and team. So let me go and have another path variable in here, which is going to be something like this. I'll say at the rate of path. So what is $path doing here? At the rate of path. So I'll say path variable. What is the second variable that we have to go and take use of? It is going to be name, right? What do you want to load? So I'll say path name, and I'll take it as string name. So I can even concatenate. I say, hey, give me both, right? Or I can say, hey, wait a second, give me a space between both, because I am loading. What am I passing back to the model? I'm passing back to the model message, and that message is displayed in this URL test, and the URL test is test.jsp, which is resolved here. So this is $message being displayed here, right? So now you can see you are getting an error, which is of course some error that I have no idea about. All right, so maybe, yeah, we have this error here as well. So path variable is being taken as string name. Why is it happening then? Okay, why am I giving comma? Sorry, the comma should be here. Yeah, sorry. So this path variable name is taken as string name, and then I'm concatenating and giving it back to the model and displaying it as message. Okay, let's go. Okay, now you're getting both about and team. You can say about and team. So whatever you type here, now you will get it here. So for example, if I say ABC, now you can say ABC teams CDE. Now this is magic. This is something magic that you want to do while loading data from the database, and you're not going to enjoy it as of now, but yeah, once we learn crude operations and we start retrieving data from the database. For example, I'm retrieving it from database. For example, if I'm retrieving class, right, and I'm retrieving class 10th, right? So now I'm retrieving students of class 10. So such has a power, or such is the power of this path variable, right? So the path variable is a very good thing. You should use it, and it is going to be used much more in dynamic web applications, for fetching data from the, and it's even used for shopping carts, right? So for example, this is a category. For example, you want to display biscuits, right? And you want to display, let's say, about Britannia. Now you are going to get all the products of Britannia. Or for example, you are developing a shopping cart which has many categories. For example, you have fashion as a category, right? And you can use any brand name, right? From the fashion, for example, Levis, right? So you can use these things to retrieve data from the database, and it's a very good thing, right? So let me show you. Let me take it separate, and now, for example, it does not have any title in here, right? So for example, I want to give it a title, so I'll go ahead and say, hey, right? So I will say mv.add object header, right? So I will say it is going to be shopping cart, or we can say clipcart.com, right? So now this is my header message, and I can display it here directly in the header. So I will say HEADER. So I'm just displaying, no, not in the login, sorry, in test.jsp. So I'll display it here in the title. I can say here dollar header. So I'm displaying this header here. The moment I refresh it, now you can clearly see. Okay, still not getting it. Is it header? Okay, H is capital, so let me just keep it. H is capital, right? Let me load it. Now you're getting clipcart.com, right? And on post, now what happens if I post back? For example, I have something that I have to add to cart, right? So I'll take it from, let's say, about this index.jsp. I want to add this comment, right? Or whatever you want. For example, let me take this table. Let me take this table. Message is displayed. Yeah, message is displayed here. So let me create a paragraph, right? And let me go inside a paragraph and say table, cell, spacing, cell spacing is equivalent to 5, and cell padding is equivalent to 5. So I can use this. Alright, enter your name and enter comment. So for example, we want to take comments. I don't know. Enter your name and enter your comment. So this has to be inside a form. So I will use form, and I'll say that form action is going to be self action, but method is going to be post. I'll say method is equivalent to post. Alright. So I'll close it down. Post, right? So now form action is going to be the same, right? /test. So it's not going to take any series this time, but yeah, it's going to be /test, right? Now, what do you expect? What error do you expect here? I expect an error. What is the error you're going to accept? Please tell me. Right. So enter. Okay. Enter your brand name and enter brand name. So I will keep it here. Some value. I'll give some value. Right. So the moment I post now, you can say 404 not found. Okay, I'm doing slash test, so I have to get rid of this slash test, so it should not be slash test. Now the moment I say method not allowed, why is this method not allowed? 405. Why? Because we do not have post supported here. So post is not being supported here. So now what I do, I will not take these path variables here. Alright, so I will say test me. Form is the name of the function or the name of the method. So whenever you click on this test, so whenever test URL is fired, the function or the method test me form is executed, and we are not going to take any path variables in here, right? Okay, but now what I want to show you is something like this. So now I go back and I click method not supported, method not supported. Okay, method not supported because still we are executing get, so I'll have to say post. Why? Because the form action is this slash test, but the form method that we are executing, form method that we're calling is post, right? So that's why here in my controller, right, I have to take it as post. So this is what is being called when you hit the post of slash test URL, when you call get of slash test URL, right? So it's as simple as anything. Now let's post method not allowed. Why is this method not allowed? Test me form. Alright, so everything is fine, so I don't have any problem in here. Why is this method not allowed? I don't know. Yeah, post not supported, so but it is supported slash test. Post is supported, so I need to rerun it. At times it happens, so let's restart the server and rerun it. Alright, now so it's starting the Tomcat back. What I want to show you is something like this, that we are doing it twice. Why do we require, or what is the need of adding an object to the model twice when the object is same? Clipcart.com is same here, and this is what we are adding on get, and clipcart.com is same here, but the total difference is that we are adding it on post, and here we are adding it on get. So that's what the difference is. So let me just go. Now still post is not allowed. So if I go to test get not support, yeah, because we have to pass a series. Okay, sorry, so that means we still have to take a series on post. Okay, all right, so let's take a series on post, and on post we're taking series. Why 405 method is not allowed? Oh my god. Okay, let's take the plain method without any series here. Why do I take series? I don't want to take series, right? So I want to go to test without even any series at all. Plain test I want to go to. Okay, that's absolutely fine. So why am I going to test biscuits? Okay, so now if I lower this, yeah, because the method should not be allowed, because you go and no, now it's allowed because you have even accepted series on post. So now here, okay, fine. So now let me have test biscuits, and it's going to be test biscuits and test. Fine, so it's absolutely fine. So biscuits and test. When I click on post, now you can see clipcart.com is coming on post, and clipcart.com is coming on get as. Okay, why did I even take it? So I have to. So you can see clipcart.com on post and clipcart.com on get. Why is it coming? Because of this mv.add attribute. You're adding attribute to the model and view. So now if I comment it out right down in the section, so that means it should not be available on post. All right, so now it is available on get, but once I click on post, it is still available on post. Okay, let me just clear the history. Now you can see it's not available on post, right? Yeah, it will be available on get. Clipcart.com is available on get. You can clearly see Clipcart.com available on get, but once I post, it's not available. Why? Because what have I done? I have just commented it out right here. So now the problem is that why do you require to add it twice? Can't we edit once and use it twice? Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what I mean. You can add this once and use it twice. So that's what my intentions were initially. That is there a method which will allow us to add it once and use it not twice but as many times as we want. So now if you got my answer, or if you have at least understood the question, not the answer, right, so you shall be able to understand the answer as well. Right, automatic binding, and now we have this model attribute that we can use. So we can use that annotation, which is model attribute annotation, right? So I'll show you. Now I will create. Okay, just a moment. All right. So where were we? So we need to create a common method for this. So I will delete it from here, and I will delete this from here as well. So now we don't have any, common header messages right here like clipcart.com, right? So I will create a different method in here. So I will call this as let me call this as public void. All right, so let me call this as something common. So call this as common header info. All right, and this common header info is going to accept one parameter, which is the model object. All right. All right. So now what I do right here, I will say model dot add attribute. Now that's what the attribute was, common header. MV, instead of MV, I'll say model. So I'm adding this attribute. I'll say model dot add, instead of object, I'll say add attribute. So now I can add as many attributes as I want to this model, right? Now the moment I add this, if you go back to the website and see the title, right? So let me refresh it. Right, the moment you see the title here, now you will notice that there's nothing available. It's gone, right? Neither on post nor on get. On post there's nothing, on get there is nothing. Can you see this right here? Right, so you can see that common header is not available here. It is gone. It was available here both on get and on post, right? We had get, it was available here. All right, but since it's not available, why? Because we have created this function common header info, accepting one model parameter or accepting one argument, right, which is the model class argument, right? And then we said we are adding attribute to the model class, right? The name is header and the value is clipcart.com. So it is not going to be called automatically, right? So unless you decorate it with the annotation at the rate of model attribute. So now I have annotated, or I have decorated this method common header info, right, with model attribute annotations. Now let us see. We're getting it clipcart.com. We're getting it on post and we are getting it on get. So we're getting it both on post, now on get. So these are the great features available in Spring, right? You can see that reusability at the maximum extent, right? You can see that we are using these things. We have every single thing at the disposal. So before we get started with Hibernate and Spring, I just want you to utilize maximum time, and we'll first finish our crude operations, right, by using JDBC. And for that we have to create some more classes, some more models, and many different things. So far what we have created is this controller class, which will handle all the controllers because we are doing our component scan on control. Then we have these services, right, and we have models right here, and we have config right here, right, and okay, So now we can make another. I will make another source folder, or I can say package. So let me call this package as org dot, all right. So I'll say org dot training industry dot write persistence. So this is going to be my package for data persistence, and this is going to handle my Java class, right? So this is going to have my Java class. Let's call this DB context. Right. So now we will incorporate or we will use JDBC and ODBC, which are basically Java database drivers. So we'll use JDBC connection and we'll use CRUD operations on the same project before we go and incorporate, or we rather combine Hibernate and Spring, right, together. So before we do that, I want you guys, because I have time limitations, so we already crossed 30 minutes, so I'll not be able to complete the class in a single video. Alright, so please do practice, because I just uploaded this video after a short break. So I want you to go ahead and do practice all the videos prior to that or beforehand. So we'll get started with JDBC and Hibernate tomorrow, and we are going to see some more important features of Spring, not Hibernate. So basically we're going to start with JDBC and Spring tomorrow, and before that we are eventually going to see some more important features of Spring with Spring security as well, right, and also the regular expressions or regex validations, because we have to incorporate complete security, because that's the Spring is supposed to be end of Java at NIIT for you guys. So I'm going to give you each and everything, and I'm going to show you everything that's not been shown and that has been left maybe in JSP in Spring, that so please practice all the previous videos and be ready from tomorrow. We shall take on the CRUD operations, right? So create, retrieve, update and delete operations, first time using Spring, and second time we'll do it with the Hibernate. I wish you all the best. See you tomorrow. Bye bye. Take care.